Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, screen is visible. Okay, so we can start. Uh, Very good afternoon to one and all. And we are into the unit number two. Still, we are into the unit number two. So one and two are quite big enough. And similarly, the other units are also. So you have to take care. You have to study a lot of times. You have to give a lot of time to this subject to study because as all the concepts are completely new, it is having some statistics, probabilities, as well as some, I could say that a lot of concepts which are completely new. So you have to take a little bit of efforts on this subject. If offline begins, then there may be a theoretical exam for this also. So we have to take care that we are on the right track. So today will be the second last lecture on this unit, that is 2.8. In the next lecture, we'll be taking the revision of completely revision of this unit. So you have to attend tomorrow's lecture on Friday so that you can get whatever you have missed, or somebody may have been absent in some of the lectures, so they can get it in by attending tomorrow's lecture compulsory. That will be very helpful for you. So today will be the actually last lecture on this machine learning, unit number 2, flavors of machine learning. So we are on the supervised machine learning techniques. So we have seen some of unsupervised machine learning techniques, that may be k-means clustering. Then we have seen principal component analysis, and we have also seen artificial neural network, which is both supervised as well as unsupervised. And in some of the supervised machine learning, we have seen the KNN machine learning. Then we have also seen decision tree, random forest. So all these things we have seen. So few of them still we are going to study as far as the supervised machine learning is concerned. So the next algorithm what we are going to study is support vector machine, which is also said to be as SVM. So support vector machine, or SVM, is quite an interesting algorithm, which is mostly used for classification purpose, as it can be also useful for regression purpose, but mostly it is used to classify. So it is one of the most popular supervised machine learning algorithm, and it can be useful for both classification and regression problems. And but mostly it is useful for classification problem. However, the goal of the SVM algorithm is to create the best line or decision boundary that can segregate the n-dimensional space into classes, so that they can easily put the new data into the correct category in the future. So actually SVM का सबसे बड़ा पॉइंट ये है कि वो डिसीजन जो बाउंड्री है, दो कैटेगरीज को डिवाइड करने की जो लाइन है, जो डिसीजन बाउंड्री है, वो डिसीजन बाउंड्री वो बहुत परफेक्टली स्पेस करता है, ताकि जो आने वाला न्यू डेटा है वो उस पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी में डाला जा सके, करेक्टली डाला जा सके। जो कि डिसीजन ट्री या रैंडम फॉरेस्ट में डिसीजन बाउंड्री इतनी स्ट्रांग नहीं है जितनी ये डिसीजन बाउंड्री स्ट्रांग करने के लिए काम में आता है। सो इट कैन इजीली हेल्प टू सिग्रीगेट द n dimensional space into classes. So whenever new data enters, it can easily put that into correct category in the future. So this best decision boundary is called as hyperplane. This is the most important concept which you haven't seen in any of the supervised or unsupervised algorithms up till now, is about the hyperplane. So SVM is actually having an hyperplane, and this is the best decision boundary. So how it segregates the into the new data into the particular category is going to be through hyperplane. So SVM chooses the extreme point vectors that help in creating the hyperplane. These extreme cases are called as support vectors, and hence the algorithm is known as SVM. So what does SVM do is that it chooses the vectors that helps in creating the hyperplane. And once you create the hyperplane, you can easily categorize the new data into one of the classes. Consider the diagram, which is there in two different categories that are classified based on the decision boundary or hyperplane. So we are going to see a diagram how this hyperplane is created. So you can see that there are two categories, category A, category B. And in this category A and category B, there is a decision boundary, which is called as the maximum margin of the hyperplane. And this is having two planes. So one is a positive hyperplane and the other one is a negative hyperplane. And in between these two hyperplanes, we have a maximum margin hyperplane. So overall, this is the decision boundary. Earlier, we have seen in a number of algorithms where decision boundary was a single line, but here the decision boundary is a plane. Remember, this is the big difference between the other algorithms and SVM. So it is the plane that has been there. So this plane is called as the hyperplane. So once you get this hyperplane, you can easily categorize the new data into one of the categories. So now when you have an hyperplane between two data, that is category 1 and category 2, then the points or the data in both the categories which are near to this hyperplane are called as support vectors, and hence the name is given as support vector machine. So you're going to find out those points in both the categories which are near to this hyperplane. This is called as the SVM. Now, if you want to understand how this SVM works, then we can easily understand with the help of example. It can be understood with an example, and we have used in KNN classifier. Suppose we see a strange cat that has some features of dog. So if we want to model that can accurately identify whether it is cat or dog, so such model can be created by using SVM algorithm. Earlierly, what was happening was that I do have a lot of images of cats and dogs, and I'll train it. As soon as a new image is given, it will categorize it into a dog, or it may be categorized into a cat up till now. But if there is cases in which if there is a cat and that has some features of dog, then it becomes difficult for the other algorithms to categorize it. So there might be a confusion to segregate into different classes. So at that time, such kind of model can be created using SVM algorithm. That is strange cat that may have some features of dogs. In that case, SVM can be used. We will first train a model with a lot of images of cats and dogs so that it can learn about different features of cats and dogs. And then we can test it with the strange creature. In this way, we can apply the new data to this SVM algorithm. SVM actually creates a decision boundary between two data, that is cat and dog, and then choose extreme cases, that is support vectors. It will see the extreme case of dog and cat, and on the basis of the support vectors, it will classify it as a cat or dog. There are two types of SVM available. One is a linear SVM and the other one is a non-linear SVM. Now, the difference can be easily understood. Linear SVM is a straight line that may be that is drawn in between two categories or two classes, and the non-linear is like it is a type of a circular. Uh, it's a type of circular where the data is in the circular form and you cannot draw a linear line. At that time, you have to prefer a non-linear SVM. So this is the difference between two. I'll explain you about linear and non-linear SVMs through the examples in the next slide. But you first understand that what linear and non-linear means. Linear means actually you're drawing a straight line as a decision boundary between two classes. And if the two classes are placed, the points are placed in such a way that you cannot draw a linear line, at that time you have to draw or you have to go with the circular form. At that time, it is called as non-linear SVM. So linear SVM is used for linearly separable data, which means if data set can be classified into two classes using a single straight line, जैसे मैंने बताया, then such data is termed as linear SVM classifier. But in case of linear, non-linear classifier, it is non-linearly separated data, which means that if data set cannot be classified by using straight line, then such data is a non-linear data, and the classifier can be used as a non-linear SVM classifier. Next is the hyperplane. Let us talk about the hyperplane because we don't have an hyperplane as far as the other algorithms are concerned. We have a decision boundary, but it is having a positive as well as negative frames in that decision boundary, which is called as the hyperplane. So if you go with understanding about hyperplane, then it is the positive and negative line that is built around your maximum margin that is been there, and the vectors which are near to this maximum margin, near to this the hyperplane, positive and negative hyperplanes are support vectors. So how it is going to work out, we are going to see this. So if you look at the hyperplane, there are multiple lines or decision boundaries to segregate the class in n-dimensional space. We need to find out the best decision boundary that helps to classify the data points. This decision boundary, the best decision boundary, is called as the hyperplane of the SVM. जैसे कि बताया कि बहुत सारे लाइंस है, उसमें मैक्सिमम मार्जिन है, पॉजिटिव है, नेगेटिव है. सो ये जो हाइपर लाइनिंग है, इसमें बेस्ट डिसीजन, इस बेस्ट बाउंड्री ढूंढने का काम, is best boundary is known as hyperplane. So the dimension of the hyperplane depends on the feature present in the data set. Means if there are two features, then hyperplane will be straight line. And if there are three features, the hyperplane can be in a two-dimensional plane. So it depends upon the number of features that you are having. So if two features are, then we can have a straight line. If there are three features, then we have to go for the n-dimensional plane. We also can create a hyperline that has a maximum margin, which means maximum distance between the 2 points. This is about the hyperplane. Now about support vectors, which are near to this decision boundary, they are the support vectors. So we are finding out that those vectors. So the data points or the vectors that are closest to the hyperplane, which affects the position of the hyperplane, are termed as support vector, which are closest to the hyperplane, यानी hyperplane के सबसे नजदीक, and which affects the position of the hyperplane, यानी कि hyperplane का position affect कर सकता है, वो वाला जो vectors है, वो support vectors है. Since these vectors supports the hyperplane, it is called as support vector, and hence this algorithm in machine learning is called as support vector machine learning algorithm. So this is a very important explanation as far as the hyperplane is concerned. Now, as I said that I will explain you as far as with the figures are concerned. So we have linear SVM in front of you. So you can see the features there. There are two features in this, one with a blue tag and the other one with a green tag. And if you want to draw a decision boundary in between, you can go easily with a linear boundary. So the working of SVM algorithm can be understood. Suppose we have a data set of two tags, green and blue, and that is having two features, x1 and x2. Then we can classify this pair x1 and x2 of the coordinates in either green or blue. So this is how the linear SVM line decision boundary can be drawn. So it is a two-dimensional space. So by just using a straight line, we can easily separate these two classes, but there can be multiple lines that can separate these classes. So the closest boundary we are going to take, but in these two categories, in two classes, we can have a number of separate lines. So you can see that you can draw here also. You can draw here. In this way, you can draw a number of straight lines in this two-dimensional space, but it will be a straight line. So this is the linear SVM. Now, beyond going to the linear SVM, that was the single decision boundary. But if you want to go with the hyperplane, then how we are going to draw the hyperplane between these two features? So it is used to find the best line or decision boundary. This boundary or region is called as hyperplane. So you're going to decide which is the best decision boundary you're going to consider. So the SVM algorithm finds the closest point of the lines from both the cases. So it find out the closest point. So पहले एक मेन लाइन ड्रॉ कर लिया आपने, और फिर उसके बाद में क्लोजेस्ट पॉइंट जो है वो पॉइंट्स के आसपास क्लोजेस्ट लाइन जो ड्रॉ करेंगे, वो उससे आप हाइपरप्लेन बना सकते हैं फ्रॉम बोथ द क्लासेस. These points are called as support vectors. The distance between the vectors and hyperplane is called as margin. The distance between the support vectors and hyperplane is called as margin. So this is the margin. This is the margin. You can see that this is the margin, and these are blue. This blue is which is closest to this line. This is called as the support vectors, and this line is the point closest to the category 2 or class 2. So this is the margin. This is our decision boundary. This is the hyperplane. So you can see that this is the maximum margin, whereas this is the optimal margin. So we are going to find out through this hyperplane. So these points are called as support vectors, and the distance between vectors and hyperplanes, the distance between the vectors and hyperplane is called as margin, and the goal of the SVM is to maximize this margin. So जितना ज्यादा मार्जिन हो उतना आपका हाइपरप्लेन ऑप्टिमल हाइपरप्लेन बनेगा. सो तो ये टोटल हाइपरप्लेन है यहाँ से यहाँ तक, इसको ऑप्टिमल हाइपरप्लेन बोलेंगे, और ये जो इनकी बीच की जो मार्जिन है वो मैक्सिमम मार्जिन है. सो दिस इज this is used to find out the optimal hyperplane, so that we can choose the best line or decision boundary, and that is possible with the help of linear SVM. So here the points are in such a way that you can go for the linear SVM. But suppose the points are not there, where you cannot draw linear SVM. You cannot draw a linear boundary or a decision boundary, best line. Then we have to go for the non-linear SVM. So in here we can see non-linear SVM. Now you can see that there are two categories. There are two classes. One is in the blue line and the blue triangle, and the other one is the green circles. So if you see that there are green circles which are in the circle, again this triangles, blue triangles are also in this form of circle. So anyhow you cannot draw a straight line or a decision boundary in between these two features. So you have to go for the other technique, and that is called as the non-linear SVM. Now, so how we can find out how you can draw the decision boundary through this, if these are the points. अगर ऐसा पॉइंट्स होंगे तो फिर डिसीजन बाउंड्री कैसे बनाई जाएगी, क्योंकि इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू सेपरेट इट थ्रू द स्ट्रेट लाइन. सो नाउ व्हाट वी कैन डू, so in order to separate these data points we need to add one or more dimension, यानी एक से ज्यादा dimensions आपको बनाने पड़ेंगे. For linear data we use two dimensions, x and y, but for linear data, just a moment.
कशाला ऑन ठेवतो, कॅमेरा बंद करून टाका. Yes, I'm audible to everybody. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I think both A and B division are here.
Yes, sir.
ठीक आहे. मग एकच मिनिट.
Okay, so we were on SVM. Will be back. So here are the points which we were considering. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is non-linear SVM. So we cannot draw a line, straight line, a decision boundary in between the 2 points or 2 categories. So instead of that thing, we have to go for the non-linear SVM. Now, how this non-linear SVM can work out? So in this, we have to use more than 2 dimensions. So for linear data, actually, we use 2 dimensions, that is X and Y. But for non-linear data, we have to add a third dimension called as Z. So how is Z calculated? X square plus Y square. Now, where will be Z? So after plotting, you can find that this is the third dimension coming into the picture. So when the third dimension is coming into the picture, still the sample space is not able to divide it into the get a decision boundary. So now how it is going to work? Now we have to see that there is a best hyperplane. Now this is how the best hyperplane is found out. So now SVM will divide the data sets into 2 classes in the following way. considering the below image. So earlier image was this one, and when we add a decision boundary in between these two, so this will be the best hyperplane. Now after getting the best hyperplane, you can see that since we are in the 3D space, hence looking at the like a plane parallel to x-axis, we can convert this 2D space with z is equal to 1. So when z is equal to 1, we can draw this circle in between, which means z is equal to 1. So we can find out a decision boundary between two categories. Hence we get a circumference of radius 1 in case of non-linear data when z is equal to 1, that is x square plus y square is equal to 1. So we are having this third dimension which will come into the space called as non-linear SVM. So hope you have got this point. Now the second algorithm which we are going to go for is a logistic regression. Now this logistic regression is one of the most popular technique, as the name is regression, but this logistic regression is very much useful for the classification purpose. So it is useful for predicting the categorical dependent variable using a given set of independent variable. The logistic regression predicts the independent variables, dependent variables, and the outcome will be a categorical or discrete value. That is, it can be either yes or no, 0 or 1, true or false, but instead giving a value of exact 0 and 1, it will give the probabilistic which lies between 0 and 1. So it will not give an output as a 0 and 1, but it will give the probabilistic value between 0 and 1. The logistic regression is much more similar to the linear regression, but linear regression is useful for regression problem, but logistic regression is useful for the classification problem. So ये दोनों में फर्क ये है कि भले दोनों में regression का नाम है, लेकिन लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन ये क्लासिफिकेशन के लिए यूज होता है और लीनियर रिग्रेशन जो है वो रिग्रेशन के लिए यूज होता है. और आपको पता है रिग्रेशन और क्लासिफिकेशन क्या है. रिग्रेशन वेयर आउटपुट इज y is continuous, and for classification the output y is discrete. So in this way we can say that the logistic regression is useful for the classification problem, whereas linear regression is useful for the regression purpose. In logistic regression, instead of fitting a regression line, we fit an S-shaped logistic function which predicts two maximum values, either 0 or 1. Now how it does work on? The curve from logistic function indicates the likelihood of something such as cell or cancerous or not, and mouse is obvious of not being a weight, etc. Logistic regression is a significant machine learning algorithm because it has the ability to provide probabilities and classify new data using continuous and discrete data set. It is used to classify the observations using different types of data and determines the most effective variables useful for the classification. It is the concept of predictive modeling as a regression, and hence it is called as logistic regression, but it can be used to classify, hence it falls under classification algorithm. Now, how this logistic function will work out? Because logistic regression यानी logistically classify कर रहा है, तो वो कैसा कर रहा है? तो by using the logistic function called as sigmoid. This sigmoid is a mathematical function which is used to map the predicted values of the probabilities. So it will map a real value into another value within the range 0 and 1. The value of the logistic regression may be between the 0 and 1, which cannot go beyond this limit. So 0 or 1 के अंदर ही होगा. So it will form like a curve called as S. And this S form of curve is nothing but the sigmoid function or logistic function. In logistic regression, we use the concept of threshold value, which defines the probability of either 0 or 1. Such value above the threshold value tends to be 1, and below the threshold value tends to be 0. So sigmoid function यानी कि क्या, एक ऐसा थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू जो 0 और 1 के बीच में लाता है, जो कि 0 और 0 से ज्यादा अगर होगा तो टेंड्स टू बी 1. इट इज थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू के अगर नीचे आ गया तो टेंड्स टू 0, थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू के ऊपर चला गया तो टेंड्स टू 1. So this is nothing but the sigmoid function which will give an value within the range of 0 to 1. Assumption of logistic regression: the dependent variable must be categorical in nature, and the independent variables should not have multicollinearity. Multicollinearity मतलब एक से ज्यादा variables के बीच में relationship नहीं देना चाहिए. तो वो इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज उसके बीच में कंफ्यूजन हो जाएगा। इसीलिए ये दो अजम्पशन पे वो काम करता है। एक है डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल मस्ट बी कैटेगोरल इन नेचर एंड इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स must not have multi-collinearity. This is what the logistic regression is. Now the third one which we are going to go is about the naive Bayes. It is again one of the supervised machine learning algorithm based on the Bayes theorem, which we are going to see. It is mostly used in text classification and includes high dimensional training data set. Naive Bayes classification is one of the simple and most effective classification algorithm that can make quick predictions. That is based on the quick prediction is based on the probability of an object. And some of the examples is spam filtering, sentiment analysis, and classifying articles. Why it is called as naive Bayes? Because it is a form of two words called as naive and Bayes. So what is naive and what is Bayes? It is called as naive because it assumes that the occurrence of certain feature is independent of occurrence of other feature. यानी एक का feature होने का मतलब है कि दूसरे का feature से वो independent है. Such as if the fruit is identified as from the base of the color, shape, and taste, then red, spherical, and sweet fruit is recognized as apple. Hence, each feature is individually contributes to identify that it is apple. That is without depending on the other. It is called as Bayes because it depends on the principle of Bayes theorem. So what is that Bayes theorem? It is also known as a Bayes rule or Bayes law, which is used to determine the probability of hypothesis with prior knowledge, and it depends on conditional probability. So this is how the Bayes theorem is given as probability of A by B equal to probability of B by A into probability of A upon probability of B, where probability of A of B is a posterior probability, that is hypothesis A on observed event B. B of A is likelihood probability, probability evidence given that probability of hypothesis is true. P of A is a prior probability and P of B is a marginal probability. Probability prior matlab probability of hypothesis before observing the evidence, and probability of B is a probability of evidence. Now working of a naive Bayes classifier that can be understood with the help of below example. Suppose we have a data set of weather conditions and corresponding target variable is play. So whether weather condition is good enough to play. So using this data set, we can decide whether the play is there or not. So to solve this problem, we need to follow first of all steps. Convert the given data sets into frequency table, generate likelihood table by finding the probability of given features, and now use the Bayes theorem to calculate the posterior probability. These are the advantages, disadvantages, and applications of naive Bayes algorithm. Naive Bayes is one of the fast and easy ML algorithm to predict a class of data sets. It can be used for binary as well as multi-class classification. It performs well in multi-class predictions as compared to the other algorithms, and is the most popular choice for text classification problem. Disadvantage that these are the all features are independent or unrelated, so it cannot learn the relationship between the features. An application of naive Bayes theorem is useful for credit scoring, medical data classification, real-time predictions, because naive Bayes classifier is an eager learner, and used in text classification such as spam filtering and sentiment analysis. So here we finish the concept. Is it okay? Hello, is it okay? Have you understood? Please respond. Should we take attendance?